Hello, West Ham Network. It's Holly, and I'm here with your daily today because reports are confirming that we are in advanced negotiations with Zion Suzuki. And today I wanted to take a deeper look at who he is and what he could bring to West Ham. So let's go. Yes, West Ham Network. Happy Wednesday. I hope everyone's well and that the weeks are off to a good start. Before we get started, if you have a moment, hit that thumbs up button, support the channel, make sure you subscribe. And I want to hear your thoughts in a comment down below, so get involved in that conversation. Now, Zion Suzuki, as we know, we need to bring in a keeper following Fabianski's departure. And while currently Areola is our first choice, there is the potential for somebody to come in and prove themselves ahead of him. Now, 22-year-old Zion Suzuki is currently the biggest rumour that we have in terms of goalkeepers, with reports saying that advanced negotiations are taking place. And he's definitely an interesting one that could bring a lot to our club. So the question is, what do we need to know? Well, here is what we need to know. So Man United were keeping tabs on him last summer, showing that there is significant interest from Premier League clubs. He's a shot stopper. He stands at 6'3" tall, and he's a bit of a force to be reckoned with. If anyone hasn't seen his highlights, go take a look. He looks like a unit, but he has the ability to be very nimble and agile, which is brilliant. So it's not only the shot stopping that it's worth talking about. He has got personality, which is something that could really help with our back line, because Areola has really struggled to command that box at times. So having somebody that wants to communicate and could bring that in is something that we have been lacking, and also something that I just think will help so much, because there have been so many errors, mistakes where people haven't marked up, just the communication hasn't been happening in that back line, and it's led to errors, which have led to goals. So it would be really good to have somebody there that is a proper communicator. Then his reflexes, they're very impressive, particularly given his build. Like I said, he's massive in stature, like he's an absolute unit, but there are a lot of highlights showing him getting down with ease to stop the ball at all kinds of awkward angles. So that's a huge positive, and something you don't often see from a keeper that has such like massive size. So I think that'll be really good. And then there's the fact as well that he is confident one-on-one. So he appears to be comfortable playing with the ball at his feet. I know always like every footballer should be comfortable playing with the ball at their feet, but he doesn't get panicked under pressure. He seems to make quite good, calm decisions when he's being closed down, which also means we might be able to distribute the ball a little bit better out from the back than we currently can, particularly in tricky situations. Now, football scout Ben Mattinson spoke very positively about his Serie A performances, saying Zion Suzuki pulled off a phenomenal save against Rome, and he's rightly making the headlines. Despite Parma's struggles at times this season, Zion Suzuki has stood out for his performances in goal. He remains one of the most exciting young keepers right now. Now, one of the major questions is, with every player that you bring in, whether or not they're going to find it easy to adapt to the Premier League. I don't think with Suzuki this should be a massive cause for concern, because he was signed by Parma last summer, meaning he has had a year of experience in Serie A, and he's done well there. And that's why they want to keep him. That's why the fans are happy with him. And that's why he's holding his value and increasing in value. Now, in 37 Serie A games, he has conceded 53 times and had 8 clean sheets, which gives him an average of 1.4 goals conceded per game. Now, to put that into perspective, Areola has conceded 150 goals and 20 clean sheets in 99 Premier League games, which averages 1.5 conceded per game. So he concedes 1.5, Suzuki concedes 1.4 per game. So Suzuki would be a marginal improvement in terms of those stats. Obviously, they don't always translate directly to another league, so you'd have to see what happens. But now the Parma player has a taste of European football, he's no doubt going to be keen if he gets the opportunity to step into the Premier League and show what he can do over here as well. So reports suggested that our offer of £22 million was pushed back, which is interesting because transfer market value him at €20 million, which is the equivalent of £17.25 million. So we went above that. But as we know, that isn't always the best value to go off, because realistically, it depends on how much the club want to sell, how much the player wants to move, and how much we want the player. That actually dictates the price. Now, the biggest talking point is, what role would Suzuki play at West Ham? And what assurances would we be giving him? So his move to Man United was turned down by the player himself because they weren't willing to put him as first choice. They wanted him to be as a backup to Onana. And instead he said, I'm not doing that. I'm not going to make the move. So you would expect that to be a stumbling block if we're not able to give him the assurances that he will be starting ahead of Areola. And on top of that, he's said to be happy at Parma, with the club also wanting to keep hold of him. So we're not in the strongest of negotiating positions, shall we say here, probably why the offer of 22 million was not back. But now the ball is in our court, because are we going to offer, or negotiate on how much of a leading role he could play at West Ham? Because only time will tell. But in my opinion, he's an all-round keeper. He looks talented. He's got youth on his side, and he seems like he could be a great option for us, providing we don't have to play ridiculously over the odds to get a signature. He definitely just seems one that could be part of a project to actually build a back line and defence there that can communicate with each other and have a young keeper that you're not constantly going, the 38, the 39, the 400, knowing that we've got somebody consistent at the back would be really good, especially if he can turn out to perform well in the Premier League. So he's actually one that I'm very excited about. I'm only nervous that we might end up in a proper bidding war, because they don't need to sell him or want to sell him. We need a keeper, and he does seem to have everything that we need and fit the bill. We've had, obviously, keepers that are sort of average in the past, and I feel like he has the attributes to keep improving. And that's one of the most important things, is you're not just bringing in a keeper that's 35, that's done it all before, and you know what you get from them. You know what you get from him to an extent, but he's got years and years to improve and get better. He's got youth on his side, and I just think he looks like quite a good fit. So we'll have to see what happens in terms of how much they can play hardball with Palmer wanting more and more money for him. But let's see what happens. But as always, I want to hear your thoughts. So let me know if you think Zion Suzuki is the goalkeeper for us, and whether we should bring him in as a firm second choice or offer him some starts. So let us know in the comments section down below. If you haven't already as well, hit the thumbs up button and tune in at 5 p.m. I'm going to be running through Hammers headlines for today. That is all from me for now. Thank you so much as always for watching. Appreciate you all. Have a great one. And until next time, happy Wednesday, happy hump day. Come on, you Irons. Irons.